I'm so embarrassed. I just had an X-ray on my abdomen for something small, not important. And the doctor was like, "Oh, that's all fine." And I was like, "Great." And he was like, "But you do have scoliosis and a giant bubble of gas up your intestine." And I was like, "Okay."
Back last summer when I was having radiotherapy, that on its own is just, it doesn't hurt. You've seen the big machines, I put them up. You lay there. But over time, where they're putting the beam into you, your stomach does tend to get a little upset and overproduce. So they give you, or you have, loperamide that you take to stop you everything going through too quickly, which is fine and you have to go every day, and you have to drink a certain amount of water to get your bladder in the correct position, so that the beam, they do a scan, they work out where the beam and how much power it's going to go to hit the bits they want to irradiate. And your bladder is a certain position. Obviously, if your bladder moves, all your organs move, and then they might fry the wrong bit. So it's really important beforehand you have a bladder scan. And they bladder scan you. Yep, your bladder's in the same position. You go in and they lay you on the table and you lay there and you don't move. And then they scan you to line you up with the heads, and then they irradiate you. The whole thing, when it goes to form, doesn't take very long. You do the bladder scan, you're right, you go in, 5-10 minutes, you're done, out you go. So I do the bladder scan. Bear in mind that you've been drinking. I fucking hated that, made me feel awful. You go on, I lay down, they scan, they wait, they scan, they wait. And then in trots this poor little radio. And you know that she was the most junior one that they've gone, "Well, you're going to do it. I'm not doing it. You can do it. She can do it." She looked really, she said, "The thing is," she said, "we can't do it because you're rather backed up. You've got a lot of gas in there. Can you maybe bend a bit and see if you can dislodge it?" Obviously my intestines were backed up. So of course I did a few squats and nothing, but she trots out, she takes me into this room and she hands me this little box of tubes. I said, "You need to go and put one of those up. And that will, everything." Well, it did. It worked. God, I felt ill because I popped it up there, hung on for a bit in the loo. The world dropped out of my bottom and I felt terrible. And then I had to drink loads of water to get my bladder back up. And I felt dreadful because I'd completely put myself out. My electrolytes were completely out of whack. But they put me in, they scanned me again. It's cleared me, they scanned me. I was there for about an hour and a half. I'm not sure who was most embarrassed, her or me, but I felt so unwell. And the worst of it was that it was the only time I had taken a friend, instead of using patient transport or my son, who would have just sat there kind of like, "I hate my mother." I'd taken a friend, bless her, and thinking it would be 15 minutes, yeah. So, and the thing is, like I said, I felt so sorry for the poor radiographer or radiotherapist, because you just know, she said, "We don't like doing it either." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."